Guys, ads are coming to ChatGPT, but not quite yet. We're going to cover that in today's video. We're also going to cover why and how Elon Musk is backing the H1B visa program. Maybe a little bit of a surprise there, maybe not. We'll cover it in just a moment. And we're also going to cover why Bitcoin is about to explode. Why, and this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, do your own research, but something happened at a major bank that you have heard of that is going to really impact the way that crypto and Bitcoin are used and transacted with in the market. All three of those big stories in today's video. If you're new here, my name is Mark. I'm bringing you a fresh video about AI and the future of work 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. So make sure that you hit the subscribe, the like button, and let's get started. So ChatGPT ads have been a big talk over the past several weeks. A lot of people have speculated that we'll be having them any day now. However, an internal memo was released by the Wall Street Journal from Sam Altman. Sam Altman issued an internal memo claiming code red, all hands on deck, drop everything because we need to focus on product quality. So what is being pushed back? Which programs, initiatives are not being worked on now? They're being pushed back, and why? So what? Ads, as mentioned before, the ChatGPT ads are being pushed back. Their AI agents for health and shopping are being delayed as well. And the personal assistant Pulse is being delayed. Now, why are these being delayed? Well, there's a few issues here. So the first of which is, let's look at it this way, guys. Ads are only as good as the traffic that you get. I'm in marketing, I run ads and manage ads for customers, and the ads are only good on platforms that have traffic, that have the right traffic, that have the right demographic, psychographic, et cetera, et cetera. And up until this point, ChatGPT has been the grand master, the grand wizard, as you might say. It's been the Gandalf the Grey when it comes to traffic. They were kind of like the first to really hit it big. And at any rate, I'm kind of diverging a little bit. ChatGPT is arguably the most used AI chatbot on planet Earth right now, because it's only as good as the outputs, guys. If you're not getting good output from the program, you're going to stop using the program. And that is what Sam is concerned about. Earlier this year, ChatGPT 5 released, and let's just say it wasn't great. It wasn't great. A lot of people were frustrated, they were upset, their memories weren't working properly. In fact, it went so poorly that ChatGPT ended up diverting to a previous session, say, hey, listen, you don't have to use GPT-5. You want to use 4.0, 4.0 mini, you can. Use what you like. We just want to keep you. So that already happened. And, in addition to the quality control, competition is heating up, boys. Google is coming for the throat of ChatGPT. And get this is a shocking statistic. Google Gemini monthly users jumped from 450 million monthly users in July to 650 million in October. Guys, that is a huge, huge jump. That's nearly a 50% jump in the course of a few months. That's a big deal, and certainly Sam Altman, ChatGPT are looking at that. And then something we covered in yesterday's video, I'll post a link to it here, was a security leak. OpenAI had a massive security leak, and a lot of people's personal information was released. People don't like that. And I'll tell you what, when OpenAI is trying to make deals with the federal government, with huge enterprises, they're not going to be too fond of that. They're like, in addition to Google Gemini, you've got Anthropic, which is starting to gain serious ground in enterprise accounts. So ChatGPT needs to kind of say, hey, we've got users now, we've got data leaks, we've got poor releases. Sam Altman's got to be thinking about, maybe I don't need to be out there opening my mouth every day. Something to think about, Sam. But anyway, ChatGPT has said, hey, let's hold off on the ads. And by the way, I'm very excited about ads. I'm doing answer engine optimization for clients. Very excited about ChatGPT ads. I think I'll be able to be very successful with them. However, if the quality isn't there, if the audience isn't there, it's not going to work. So anyway, they are going back and focusing on that. Okay. By the way, thanks for being here. If you're new here, you definitely want to subscribe. You definitely want to subscribe to my newsletter. It's completely free. AIupdate.ai. Join me and thousands of men just like you in remaining relevant, respected, and financially free in an AI world. Okay, Next story. Elon Musk is defending the H1B visa program pretty firmly. He went on a podcast this week with an Indian entrepreneur, Nikhil Kamath, on YouTube. Millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views anyway. And he said, listen, we need the H1B visa program. I need the H1B visa program. I'm changing the world with rockets, with electric vehicles. I'm building robots. I need the H1B visa program. And what he said basically is that some companies have been using the H1B visa program to hire foreign employees at a fraction of the cost of an American citizen. But that's not what he's doing. At least that's what he claims. Elon's claim is that he's using H1B visa in his firms to make up for a scarcity in talented people. And by the way, this does check out with what is being said over at Ford. Ford's like, we're 5,000 employees short. We cannot find skilled labor to fill these jobs. And I know my homies in the comments are gonna say like, I'm a mechanic, I want a $100,000 job. Well, you know, there's certain skills that you may have, but there's certain skills you may need to build in order to get these jobs. And I'm also a big fan of big companies like Ford saying, hey, these are our best guys, let's train them, let's bring them up to date on the newest EV technology, on the newest manufacturing automations and robotics. Let's make sure that our guys understand EVs and how they charging stations, all that good stuff. It's different. You know, it's different. The way that you handle an EV is definitely going to be different than how you handle a combustion engine. Regardless, you know, Elon's basically saying, hey, listen, there's not enough high-skilled talent here in the States, so that's why I need to bring others. And quite frankly, I think that is a good reason, personally, for an H1B visa program. What I don't want is indentured servitudes and reducing the wages for American citizens. What I do want is the best talent in the world here in the United States, working in the United States, and training United States workers. I don't think that's crazy. And if that's what Elon is doing, if that is what we can do in the United States, then I think that's a good thing. And just as a side note, right now, by the way, I record an entire video on the H1B visa program, several videos, but you check out this video here. I think that you will like it. Right now, currently, there are 1.28 million residents in the US on H1B visa program. So listen, any government program can be abused, and that needs to get shut down. There need to be severe penalties for companies that are abusing programs like this. It's not right, it's not cool, we gotta shut them down. We also need to make sure that we're bringing the best and brightest talent here in the United States so that we can build a firmer, better future for our families. That's my stance. If you disagree, you can put in the comments below, that's okay. Okay, next story of the day. Dude, this is a crazy story. And you know, I know you guys are not as into crypto as I am. I find it fascinating. You know, part of being relevant, respected, and financially free is understanding how to grow wealth so that you can get off of the hamster wheel. And part of that is investing wisely. And up until this point, Bitcoin and crypto have been seen as very, very high risk. And I'm not saying that they're not high risk. I'm not saying there's no volatility there. Of course there is. Bitcoin could potentially go to 0. Could also go to 1 million. Could go to 10 million. We don't know. We don't know. However, this is huge news about Bitcoin and crypto. Bank of America now recommends a 1 to 4% crypto allocation. It's saying that, hey guys, you look at your portfolio, you need to have some Bitcoin in your portfolio. Bank of America is saying that. They, up until this point, have not said that. They have not been able to say that. They have not been proactively recommending crypto. However, as early as January 5th, 2026, Bank of America and its 15,000 advisors will be recommending some allocation into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Guys, that is a huge, huge deal. People listen to their advisors, their financial experts, and if their financial experts are saying, hey, we need to put you in this Bitcoin ETF, do you think people are going to do it? Bitcoin's been on a wild ride this year, guys. It's down 5% for the year. It's down 15% over 3 months. But just a month ago, it was up to 120K. It's a wild ride, guys. If you can sit down and chill with Bitcoin for a little while, it's a wild ride, but I don't know. Just the idea of the blockchain, the idea of I can take my money with me anywhere if I just can remember the wallet phrase in my head. Pretty appealing, pretty appealing. Bitcoin's a pretty big deal. You've got the halving, you've got scarcity, you've got, it's relying on energy. You know, people are not transacting with Bitcoin on a regular basis, although I can go to Steak and Shake and buy a hamburger with Bitcoin. But you know, we're only like one slight change away from a major shift in the way that consumers use a product like Bitcoin. I'll give you a perfect example. QR codes, you know, those little boxes, little square things that you whip out your camera and scan. QR codes have been around a long time. They've been around for 20 years. But it was only until COVID happened that people started using them everywhere. Now there's QR codes everywhere. You go to a restaurant and you scan a QR code because they didn't want to have menus and transmitting COVID or whatever. It doesn't take much for something to completely transform, and QR codes have completely gone from obscurity to complete ubiquity. So is that what's gonna happen with Bitcoin? I don't know. But what I do know is that Bank of America recommending it and advising their 15,000 advisors to recommend Bitcoin allocation up to 4% of your portfolio, that's a pretty big deal, guys. That's a lot of Bitcoin that's gonna get scooped up. And I've been on that train, I will stay on that train. I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research. Regardless, I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for liking. Guys, I normally just cover one topic in a video. Do you prefer that I cover multiple topics? I kind of like it. I feel like we can get to more of the topics. There's so much crazy news happening every day. Anyway, type in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. See you later, boys. Peace.